Okay, so here we are. So we are so happy to be here today, and we're happy that you took the time out of your busy schedules and are here as well. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jane Santangelo. I'm your MC for today. I was a business owner for 30 plus years. I love creating ways to help people increase their bottom line. And really, there's no better way to do that than to find areas that allow us to create an additional revenue stream, but more importantly, by creating value for our clients. We really can generate such goodwill that it comes back to us over and over and over again. Many of us refer to this as service to others, but diversifying services to boost your revenue is so important. It's what gets us through those tough times. And what you're going to learn today from Dave is the perfect second income for real estate agents. So as real estate agents, many of you that have been in the business for many, many years knows that a lot of times you're the hardest hit by this economic crisis. A little bit about our guest speaker. I've known Dave for many, many years. Dave is very, very successful in his own right. He owned and operated a successful multi-million-dollar environmental products business. Over 10 years ago, he sold. One of the principles that Dave used, as well as my husband and I used in our business, was adding on valued services, things that people wanted and needed and were important to them. It was one of the reasons why his business was so profitable and he was able to sell when he did easily and at a high price. So after a time, he's in that club that I'm in, Workaholics. We love to work. We love that game of work. He uncovered this program, made it his second act, and he's showing people how to turn debt into wealth. And today, he's the sponsor of a nonprofit for his grandson who was born 10 years ago with a severely disabling, I don't think it's a disease, a syndrome. And Dave's life in business, in this business, he utilizes it to actually fund that non-for-profit for his son. But again, he's helped many, many people expand what they're doing and have them to have control over their lives, because he knows how valuable that is. So without further ado, Dave, please take the floor. You have to mute, Dave. Unmute.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
You'd think I would know how to work this after so many years.
Oh,
Anyway,
you're perfect.
thank you so much for that introduction. It is always a pleasure to work with you and your team, and just showing people how this particular program works. And yes, it is my second act. I love what I'm doing with it, and it may sound hokey to some folks, but to me, it is a business, obviously, and we're able to help a lot of people and help a lot of professionals like realtors, mortgage brokers, CPAs, financial advisors increase their clientele. But for me, not only as a business, but I've seen that it's actually become a little bit of a ministry. I'm really helping people pay off debt, but not only paying off debt and creating wealth. The program is called the Debt Shredder, and that's what it does, and that's what we're going to show you today. But I will also show you how it will help you and your clients create wealth. And that's the bottom line. You can build a nest egg, an emergency fund, or what have you. So my contact information is down at the bottom of this intro screen. That's my email. That is my cell phone. If you want to talk to me directly, send me a text, tell me who you are, and I'll reach out immediately to you. And that's the website where you can get some additional information. So let me just talk about the Debt Shredder. This program can add value to your own core business, to yourself, but to your core business by helping your past, present, and future customers. I deal with many realtors across the country, and obviously the real estate market, sometimes it's great, sometimes not so great. But the fact is that, you know, they make that sale to that customer, they sell them that dream home or what have you. They may never have another opportunity to go back to them. This program gives you an opportunity to go back to your past clients, your whole back book of business, and offer them something that can create wealth for themselves, and they will remember you. If you can save someone $100,000 or $200,000 in debt on a mortgage interest or what have you, they will remember you. They will obviously remember you, and you'll be that go-to person that they will always come to. So what we are looking for is to form alliances with professionals who think outside the box. This is a great door opening tool in the marketplace. I deal with all these types of folks on here: real estate professionals, investors, mortgage brokers, money managers, financial advisors, insurance agents, anyone on here that is dealing with people's finances or income, we can work with and expand their reach and help them create another touch point for their clients. So let's talk about the origin of this program called the Debt Shredder. It was actually developed by two mortgage brokers back in 1997 to help their clients manage debt smarter and create new clients. Obviously, they were providing people mortgages and 30-year mortgage, and they had over 400 clients at the time. And they also saw that some clients were having issues, right? They refinanced too often, really use up the equity in their home, that type of thing. So they wanted to create a program that would help them. But selfishly or smartly, they felt that if they can help their clients pay off a 30-year mortgage in 10 to 15 years, perhaps those clients would come back to them for another new mortgage, right? When they needed to buy that vacation home, that investment property, or that real estate deal. What they found, though, is that because of the algorithms and the factorial math that they created, they were able to not only help their clients reduce debt on mortgages, but what they found is that people were putting other debt into the program, and it'll work with any debt. So they were putting things in like tuition loans, and if you heard anything or plugged into what's happening in the student loan situation, I'm working with folks whose student loan debt or tuition debt, especially in the medical market, is larger than most mortgages. In fact, very onerous, in fact. But they were putting other debt in there, like mortgages, student loans, credit cards, car loans, all types of things. But what happened was when they put out this program, they were expecting that clients would pay off their mortgages in about, again, 10 to 15 years as opposed to 30. And what they found is that clients were actually paying off faster. Actually, the numbers were in 5 to 9 years, they were paying off 30-year mortgages. So with little or no change to the lifestyle, and all they needed is a checking and savings account in order for the program to facilitate. So from that standpoint, we knew they had a winner. All right, so in fact, in 2008, they actually won an Entrepreneur of the Year award for this particular software through Ernst & Young. Now, if you're familiar with Ernst & Young, they're the largest CPA firm in the world, certainly in the country, and we were featured in various trade journals like True Wealth, Mortgage Planner, Broker Banker, and so on. And the fact is that we've highly recognized in the marketplace for being able to help people with their debt. So at this point, I'd like to tell you what we don't do, because sometimes there's some confusion. People call me and they say, "Can you help me? I'm really, underwater," and so on. This program is not going to help anyone who's underwater, right? That is something called credit repair, credit remediation. I will certainly help those folks. I'll refer them to, people that we deal with in the marketplace, but that's not what we do. We are not a refinancing program. We're not going to do anything with refinancing. However, if you refinanced, we can help you pay down that new mortgage faster. We are not debt consolidation. We're not taking a bunch of little debts and putting them into one big loan and extending it over a period of time and reducing the interest on that. We're not restructuring anything. Again, we're not credit repair. We're not using things like debt snowball or debt avalanche, which some credit repair credit companies do. And we do not provide any mortgage service. And also, not in here, but I am not a financial advisor. I want to be able to say that right now. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm going to show you how the program can help you create wealth. I'm going to show you what that bucket of wealth can look like. But you would then work with a licensed financial advisor to grow that wealth. But I'm going to show you what that number is can potentially be, and then you work with a financial advisor. So I can't give you financial advice. The point is that I have a software program that will help people pay off their debt in record time. So consumer debt is obviously at an all-time high. Obviously, education loans are very onerous. Living expenses continue, things continue to go up. Inflation is biting into all of our wallets. Real estate investments or just having a home, depending on where you're located, home prices are through the roof. I just moved from New Jersey, where, taxes were pretty confiscatory to South Carolina. But even real estate here is pretty high. And people buy, that are doing well, they're buying the toys, right? They have the luxury car, boats, RVs, ATVs, RVs, whatever, they're getting in debt with these types of things. Also business startups, sometimes people are starting businesses and they're using some of the equity they have, or they're tapping into that equity for home improvements. Maybe they want to redo that kitchen, or put in a pool or what have you. So banks will always deploy mathematical solutions that'll generate overwhelming profits on our debt. That's their business model, right? They're going to loan you money, but they're going to get their piece of the action. And what our program does is mimics those calculations. However, it'll do that in reverse. It inverts those calculations and eliminating tens of thousands, literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest payments. So here are some of the issues. I mean, these numbers on the screen that you'll see here, credit cards, car loans, student loans, all in the trillions. I update this about once a month and it's always going up. It never goes down. It always goes up. And this source I use was LendingTree. You can look at these numbers yourself. You can dig them up online and what have you. But the point is that, debt is a big deal. What are your customers' options and why should you care as a professional, as a real estate professional, as a mortgage broker, or any one of the other professions I mentioned earlier? All right, understand that your customers may not have a game plan, right? It's seat of the pants, living, right? They, robbing Peter to pay Paul. They don't keep a budget. Maybe they do keep a budget, but most people I'm finding don't even keep a budget. They're perhaps working with an Excel spreadsheet if they know how to use one. They're looking up options online. We find that we get a lot of referrals from people that are looking for, debt remediation or debt, repair and just paying off debt and so on. So they're looking at options online. They may use things like the Debt Snowball or Debt Avalanche. Dave Ramsey, who is a, probably the guru on debt reduction, utilizes that in his program, or they're trying to figure out what's the best way to pay existing debt. All of these are time intensive for them, and sometimes they're just not making the right choice in what to do. What we have is a financial GPS, and my wife and I love to take road trips. Certainly over the last few years, during COVID, we actually took a 30-day cross-country road trip. And the fact is we use a GPS, like most people that are on this call probably use a GPS. Now, if you want to go fast, you want to take the toll roads, you can do that. Obviously, you're going to get hit with toll fees and so on. But if you want to take the scenic routes, and just enjoy the points of interest, safe parks, etc., you can do that too. You're in control with a GPS, and you're also in control with the financial GPS. You can go as fast as you want. You can go as fast as you want, as slow as you want, and it'll always take you on the right course to get out of debt as quickly as possible. So the difference with our program, as opposed to other programs on the market, is that we use algorithms. Now, everyone is familiar with the term algorithms, but our program uses algorithms. Now, a simple way to understand how algorithms work, it's all behind the scenes, right? So as an example, I always use the analogy of my key fob. When I get into my car, I have a key fob, not a key, a fob, right? A little black thing. And my car recognizes as soon as I'm near it and it opens the door, right? How does it know that, right? Well, it's algorithm, right? I get in the car, I don't have to stick a key in the ignition. I just press a button and 47 different activities happen underneath the hood. I don't need to know how that works. All I know is that I want the car to start and move forward when I put it in drive. The point is algorithms is something that are all around us, and our program uses algorithms to give you the best priority on what should happen based on the data. It goes through numerous factorial combinations of options to find which is the best one. Now, factorial combinations may not mean anything to you right now, but when I get to one of my next slides, I'll show you exactly what I mean. But it's working through all of these options and always going to give you the best path to get out of debt. It'll do this in real time from this point forward. So once we run an analysis for you, which we're going to talk about later, we'll run an analysis. I can show you exactly how much debt you're going to be able to pay off, how quickly the year's going to have you out of debt, and what your potential wealth build could be and how much you're going to be saving every month. I'm going to go through a report. You'll be able to see that. So it's going to do this from this point looking forward. But if you decide that tomorrow you want to buy a new car or an RV or even an investment property, you can put that new debt into the program and it'll start calculating again from that point looking forward. And it's always going to look for the fastest path to zero. So several strategies that the program works. We're going to go into these. I'm not going to go into a lot of depth on it, just kind of a 30,000-foot view, but you'll get the picture. Primarily, it's interest cancellation. Interest cancellation is the biggest. It makes it possible to pay back a fraction of the interest that is normally owed. It'll also look at strategic payoff. How do you analyze which debt to pay off first? All right. I have worked with CPAs all over the country, and I give them a little test. I say, hey, how would you pay this off? Every single one of them gives me a different answer. Right? They don't know. They think they know. Our program uses the science and algorithms in order to determine what's the best path. We're also going to talk about the time value of money. Money is worth more today in your pocket than in the future. You can do something if you have that cash in hand. Banks understand that. They know what to do that. As an example, if you went to a bank and opened up a savings account for $1,000, what will you get as far as interest? Probably 0.5%, maybe 1%. However, if the following day you went back to that same bank and said, hey, I need a loan for $1,000, what kind of interest will they charge you? Probably 10, 11, 12% based on your credit rating, what have you. So they understand that they have money in their hand right now. They're going to use it. They're not going to keep it stagnant. And that's what our program is going to do, show you how to not keep that money stagnant, get out of debt. All right. And also, finally, our financial GPS itself, our software, its coaching, and the education system that we provide. So now this may be pretty commonplace to many of the folks on the call, but just bear with me. People need to understand how the interest rate on your loan works. It's not the interest you get, folks. It's the interest you pay. That's really the subject here. All right. So here I have on a screen a 30-year mortgage with a 4.5% interest rate. Remember 4.5% interest rates not too long ago? All right. But let's use the 4.5% interest rate at $200,000, $1013 a month. You have someone who has a mortgage like that and they can afford that $1013 a month, and they're very happy. They got a 4.5% interest rate. But if understand how banks operate, banks are going to try to collect, and will collect all the interest, as much of that interest up front. And usually in the first 7 to 10 years, they're collecting that. And understand, in many cases, the first 7 to 10 years is when a client's going to resell their home or sell the home and buy a new home. Guess what? They're back into that 30-year mortgage with a new interest rate. And again, they're going to pay the interest rate up front for the next 7 to 10 years, the majority of that. So here's an example of that. So in the first year on that $200,000 mortgage, almost $9,000 is interest. So 73% of that bill that you're paying every month for that first year is interest. If we look at it into the second year, it doesn't drop by much. 1 point drops down to about $8,700 in interest, and it'll drop certainly over, the interest rate will drop over the 30-year period. But if you look at it 20 years into the future, that 30-year mortgage, you've actually paid $43,000 more than you had to for that $200,000 home. But you had to because you didn't have the cash available and you needed to use the bank. And that's fine. That's what we all do. We use the banks. But the point is, I don't have a problem using a bank. I just have a problem with the bank keeping all of that interest that they're charging me. All right. So 30 years into that same $200,000 loan, that home actually cost you $365,000, including the interest. All right. And that's crazy. That's almost 82% of interest. So did you get 4.5% interest rate, or did you get 82% interest rate? The bottom line is you got 4.5% interest rate, but you wound up paying 82%, all right, or $164,000 more than you had to. To me, that's just criminal, right? So I want to give you an example of a 30-year mortgage at $200,000 at 4%. And at the bottom line here is that you'd be paying, obviously it's the amortization schedule and so on, but on the bottom line here is over 360 months, you'll spend over $144,000 in interest to borrow from the bank. If you decided that you wanted a 15-year mortgage, which I don't recommend, I do recommend a 30-year mortgage and then utilizing the debt shredder program. But if you decide to take a 15-year mortgage, you'd have to have an additional about $475 a month in order to cover that. So if things are tight, you may not want to do that, or may not put your clients in that position, right? What happens if the car breaks down, the kids need braces, or what have you, all of a sudden they're in a desperate situation. But let's see what happens with the 15-year mortgage. You took a 15-year mortgage, you may get a better interest rate at 3.5%. But look at this, over 180 months, you'll still spend about almost $60,000 in interest. Certainly better than the 30-year option, but you're still spending quite a bit of money. But what if you applied this to the debt shredder program, all right? So on a debt shredder program, still taking that $200,000 mortgage, which remember we said they'd be paying about $144,000 roughly in interest. With the debt shredder program, that 30-year mortgage versus 15-year mortgage, they would pay it off in less than 9 years, right? 30 years down to 9, or 15 years down to 9, and they would save almost $110,000 in interest, and a potential wealth accumulation of over $580,000. Now, if they can save that kind of money on the wealth side here, you see that 580, about 578. By the way, I'm showing that at 1%, which is lousy, but we like to underpromise and overdeliver. Again, that's why I mentioned earlier, if you work with a financial advisor, they can certainly do better than that. But at least you can see that even at 1%, you'd be way ahead of the game than using the 30-year versus a 15-year, but going with the debt shredder with the 30-year program. All right. So this is the question I always ask CPAs when we're talking about it. And they say, "Oh, I can help my clients. I don't need you, Dave." But I said, "Well, great. How would you help your clients pay this off?" Right. We have 6 different debts. We have 6 different items. We have 6 different balances. We have 6 different percentages. Which one does it make sense to pay off first? All right. And every single one of them will give me a different answer. And usually what I'll tell them, I say, "Hey, let me run the numbers for you or your client and then see how that works out." And all the time they're amazed at what the program will do. Let me also give you an idea of a strategic payoff. This is a true story, happened to one of my clients. They wound up moving forward with the program. They had roughly about 18 years left on their mortgage, and we were going to cut that down to about 8 years based on the numbers they were willing to do. And they had mortgage, they had student loans they were paying off for their kids, they had 2 car loans, and a little bit of credit card debt. So anyway, ran the numbers for them. They decided to move forward with the program. We're going to take them from 18 years down to 8. And then in February, she calls me up and she said, "Hey, she got a $20,000 bonus, and she wanted to see how best to apply the program, the $20,000. And she indicated to me that she wanted to pay off her student loans or at least pay down some of the student loans for her boys." And I said, "Well, that will help you. It's certainly going to save some interest, but why don't you let the program make that determination?" Again, our program works on science and the algorithms and not on emotion. And she says, "Well, I'm really looking forward to doing that." And I said, "Well, contact our client support, which is our financial GPS support team, and see what they can do. They can do actuarials. They can actually access your system and work you through it and run what if scenarios." Bottom line was, what she wanted to do is take that $20,000 and apply it to the boys' student loans. Well, she would have saved $38,000. Now, I think everyone on this call would agree that to put 20 in and to save $38,000 is a home run, right? That's fantastic. However, that's what she wanted to do. The program told her to do it a little bit differently and told her to put some of that towards the student loans, some towards the mortgage. And in that particular case, she actually saved $44,000. So she saved an additional $6,000 just by letting the program decide where to do it. Now, again, it's by using that financial GPS. Had she used the 20 grand towards the student loans, she still would have saved $38,000. But I think you'd agree $44,000 savings is better than $38,000 savings. So I always tell people, follow what the program tells you to do. However, you can override it if that's what you want to do, but you may leave some money on the table. So this is what our dashboard looks like. It shows you up here, you'll see these dashlets, which can be changed. It'll show you the interest remaining on the loan, how many years to pay off, how much interest they've saved. And it also gives you a number of different buttons out here. This is an action plan that will give the client a 90-day view of what needs to happen, so there's no surprises. And it shows them a budgeting tool. Budgeting tool is absolutely fantastic. People have really changed how they spend money, and they're really now seeing where their money is going, and they can control that a little bit better. It gives them a better introspection on their finances, which is always a good thing. Also, we have accounts you can set up. So you can set up obviously accounts like, let's say, insurance, utilities, things that you want to keep track of, it, groceries, childcare, things of that sort that obviously eat into your income. And the reports button, basically, you can press a button and you get reports based on what's happening in your system that you can provide to your CPA, accountant, or if you use it for your own knowledge base, right? So this is actually a report. We've changed the names to protect the people. We always are big on privacy. And let me just say this now, that if you ever decide to have us run an analysis, we will never ask you for any private information. We don't need credit card numbers, account numbers, Social Security, anything like that. All we need is the math, right? We're looking for percentages, balances, and so on, and monthly payments, and we can help. We can run a free analysis for you. But let's look at this scenario. Again, this is a true life scenario. This is an individual that had a mortgage, a car loan, a student loan, and 3 credit cards, right? A total of 6 debts. Now, on those 6 debts, like I just showed you on those previous ones, those 6 debts, if you were trying to figure out what's the fastest way to pay those, that's why the accountants can't figure it out, or CPAs, is that on those 6 debts, there's actually 720 different calculations that our program will run. Again, just like the things that are happening under the hood of my car. I don't need to know how it works. I just need to move forward. Our program and on those 6 debts will run 720 calculations, but then give you the 6 best options there for those 6 debts. Basically, one option, but basically you can get out of debt faster by utilizing our program and using the strategic payoff. Back to this report here, what I want to show you is what happens with our report, and you'll see at the top of the screen here. You'll see that $344,000 that they think they owe, but what they really owe is $573,000. Again, going back to the mortgage I showed you earlier, where it's not the 4.5%, it's at 82%. So they were really shocked at that number, but that's what the interest will bring them. So let's look at what happens here. So this is what they really owe, not that $344,400. They owe $573,000, and that basically is $229,000 in what we call TIP, total interest percentage. That's really what they're overpaying, all right, because they had to borrow money from the bank, all right. They're also right now going to be on the hook for almost 30 years. It's a brand new mortgage. They got 29.5 years left on that mortgage. But with the financial GPS, we're actually going to reduce that $573,000 to $430,000, saving them $143,000, almost $144,000. Now, if you're a professional, like I mentioned earlier, if you can show your clients how to save $144,000, what will they think of you? They will love you. They're going to refer more people to you. They are going to be ecstatic about that savings because they'll be able to put that money into their pocket as opposed to the bank. We're also going to take it from, again, the 29.4 years down to 10.5 years. Now, let me give you a little bit of a disclaimer here. The fact is that every time I've run this analysis for someone, and I can show them where it'll be out of debt in a shorter period of time, I like to follow up with my clients every 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, and I'll continue following up if they're okay with that. But all I'm asking for them to give me is where they are in that financial GPS, what's their dashboard say. And I will tell you this, 99.9% of my clients are ahead of the timing I said they would be out of debt. So if this was my client, and I was calling them 6 months later, that 10.5 years would probably be 8 years, 7 years, or even better. And the reason for that is people realize that this program is working for them. It's working to their advantage. They're seeing that they're saving money, they're saving time, saving interest, and they usually find a few extra dollars to put into the program to help the program pay off the debt faster, right? So the GPS will save them, on this case, almost $144,000, all right? I believe it'll save them more because they'll accelerate, all right? And look at the wealth build. Remember I mentioned it's a debt shredder, but it's also a wealth building program. They will actually save in the remaining 18.9 years of not having to pay debt, right? They're not having to pay this $2,700 every month towards the loans. They will be able to accumulate at 1% about $856,000. All right. Now, someone's going to get that money, either their lender or their family. I bet they want it for their family. So the fact of the matter is that wealth build is important, and you can see that that's several times more. This wealth build is several times more than even what we saved them on the interest savings. To me, that is an exciting number to look at. But it doesn't stop there, right? We're actually going to save them about over $1,000 a month in interest savings. Now, again, think about yourself or your client. If you could save another $1,000 a month in interest, would that make you happy? Would that make your clients happy? All right, they can put that $1,000 towards something else. All right, but the fact of the matter is our program will save them at least that. All right, this is the second page of the analysis that we'll provide. Right, and on the left-hand side here, you'll see their basic amortization schedule. Right, they're going to be paying debt for 29.4 years. They're in the red, right, and to that point. And in this particular case, with the debt shredder, they'll be out of debt in that year 11. You see, it goes from blue to green. In year 11, they're already putting about $21,000 into their pocket. That yellow highlight, by the way, is this particular customer wanted to be debt-free by 2040. And as you can see, they'll actually be out of debt in about 10 years earlier than that. So that is always exciting too. And again, we recap this. We're going to say they'll be out of debt in 10.5 years. By April 2031, we're going to save them almost 19 years. A total savings of $144,000, and over $1,000 a month will be saved in interest and in time, obviously. All right. And by the way, if you look at this, that's about a $520,000 swing in their favor between what they would have paid to the bank and what they're going to be putting into their pocket. Right. So why should you offer a financial GPS? Right. Why should you make this part of your door opener, or part of your part of your marketing, or part of your customer acquisition or customer retention? Right. If you could help customer eliminate a half to a third of their current time and debt, all right, and maximize their cash flow and also increase their net worth, do you think they would be happy with that? Do you think they would want to take a look at that? Now, our analysis is free. It'll help them make educated financial decisions as to what to do. We will give them a step-by-step action plan, and if they can't follow that action plan, they can call our 800 number. Our customer support is there to help them. There are video tutorials and things of that sort to help them get through there. And our customer support can actually do a screen share with them and take them through it. And once they've done that once or twice, they're off and running, and they really have to call our client support. All right, and it'll show the cause and effect of your financial decisions. Point here is that the program will actually run what if scenarios. We have situations where customers move forward with the program, and then a few years in, they decided that they want to buy an RV. Was that the right decision? They can run actuarials and see what will that do to their debt situation. How quickly can they pay that off? Maybe it's a life event. Their wedding, their daughter's getting married. Now they got the expense of that. What will that do to their financial situation? So it helps them make smart financial decisions. And they can do it based again on the science and the math, as opposed to the emotion of doing things. So that's always a smarter way to do it. It'll help forecast future purchases. What will it do? What will it do to that? They can take a 7-year car loan and pay it off in about 2.5 years. All right. And sometimes most families have 2 car loans, going at the same time. All right. And by the way, the results of this program are warranted. In writing, we'll provide that to you, that it will achieve the numbers that we say they will achieve. And again, 99.9% of the time, they're further ahead than I even thought they would be. All right. So again, it'll offer an increase, an organic increase to their credit score. It'll also manage. I had a situation up in Sparta, New Jersey, where someone wanted to buy, their dream home. It was going to be a little bit more costly than they thought. The realtor asked us to run an analysis for them, and they found out with an additional $200 a month, they were able to get that dream home because they would pay it off in about 15 years again, as opposed to 30. And they bit the bullet, so to speak, and they bought the bigger home. So it works in that regard also, right? Again, this is not a concept or a theory. We've been doing this for over 2 decades of saving people time and money. They own the program for life. There are no ongoing fees. There's no monthly fees, no contracts, no surprises. Basically, it's a program, in the box that shows them how to do it with, full support. They also get live updates, live customer support and coaching should they need it. Again, they just call an 800 number, do it. And what I want to share with you now, just let me just pause. Let me just
pay down their mortgage and their debt.
Oh,
So
hold
they
on.
could have the opportunity of free.
All right, I'm gonna just rewind this here. What I want to just show you, this is a couple of minutes. This is a gentleman by the name of Elliot Morales. I'll let him speak for a couple of minutes, and then we'll finish up our overview.
It's Elliot Morales, and I'm a state certified residential appraiser, also a real estate broker partner out of Stamford, Connecticut, and I'm also a real estate property investor. As a real estate investor, I'm always looking for the best way to pay off my mortgages as quickly as I can, so I could possibly reinvest and purchase more properties. As a real estate broker, I looked at this tool, how it can help my clients and to eliminate their debt and future buyers. Here's what the trick is. I take my current buyers, I already know what they're going to pay on their interest rate, on their mortgage. I put it on the Debt Shredder free analysis worksheet, and I let them know how much they're going to save by using the Debt Shredder program, how much interest they're going to save, and how many years they're going to cut off. And then with the wealth that they continue to pay through the 30 years, how much wealth is going to accumulate. My business has grown in the last 8 months in real estate sales, where in 5 months, I am what we call a capper. I've done 5 million in sales in less than 5 months. And as a real estate agent, that is a phenomenal tool to help our clients. I filled out a free debt analysis worksheet, and I have 3 properties, and I was going to purchase a 4th one, but I currently have 3 properties. And when I filled it out, I was amazed. I got the worksheet here. So I have an average of 25.8 years mortgage, and my savings will be approximately 1,900, and I'll be paying it off in 8.4 years. Total savings of $195,000 that the lender will never get from me, which means that I could do whatever I would like. If I want to purchase other properties, put it towards my retirement, I could do whatever I'd like with that. So for me, as an investor, that was huge, because it's no longer let's pay every 2 weeks towards our principal, or make 2 payments towards your principal, and you're going to cut off 7 years. And then I realized that I'd be able to, with my credit cards, any medical bills, any student loans, that I'd be able to eliminate my debt. So this was great. I found this to be really great for myself. And then as a real estate broker, I found it great for my clients, so they could pay down their mortgage and their debts, so they could have the opportunity of creating wealth. So this is a great tool for real estate agents to have in their portfolio. Thank you.
So again, how do you currently create new referrals? This is a great product to offer to them. You can have a competitive edge over your competition. Coming from New Jersey, there was a real estate agency on every corner. Some with 20 agents, some with 200 agents, all competing for the same pie. Several came across the debt shredder and are using this to, not cut out the competition, but certainly have a step over their competition, right? You can offer more value to your customers. You can stand out in your industry. Again, staying in touch with your past clients. I think that's probably one of the best kept secrets about this program is you can go back to your past clients and offer them an analysis where you can pay that mortgage off and perhaps put them in a position to get the dream home or that real estate property that they really want, right? So obviously want to finish up with some next steps. And the next step is to get together with the person who invited you to book an appointment and get your questions answered. If you need my information, it'll be on the next slide where you can give me a call and I'll be happy to help you answer any questions. What I recommend for everyone on this call is to have your own complimentary savings analysis done. Again, we don't need any private information. We just need the math. Our worksheet basically is you just fill in the blanks and provide that to us. Again, we're looking for the numbers of debt you have, the balances, the percentages, your monthly payment on that. That would be about a $250 value. We don't charge for that, but if we were to charge for our time, that would be. So I would take advantage of that $250 value and get your free analysis done for yourself before you start offering to your clients so you can see what it'll do for them. All right. Experience the math behind the financial GPS. And again, it's an opportunity to turn debt to wealth. All right. I want to thank you everyone for your time. And again, that's my information there. And Jane, I'll turn it over to you at this point.
Thank you so much, Dave. That was very, very insightful. And I want to thank everyone that participated today. Just let us know how we can help you. If there's any questions that you have, please reach out to Dave or myself. So again, have a wonderful afternoon. And it was our pleasure to give you this information and share it. And hopefully you will do something that it will benefit yourself and benefit someone else. Thank you again. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you,
Great
Jane.
job.
Thank you,
You're
everyone.
welcome.
Have a happy 4th of July.
Yes, happy 4th of July.